Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight. This is our 7th annual award ceremony, but as you'll hear in a little while from the Trust Fund Commissioners, this is actually the 23rd year that we're giving out awards. So it's quite an accomplishment for the Trust Fund Commissioners to do all this. This year we're giving out $58,000 worth of scholarships. We had 77 applicants, and we're giving awards to 13 recipients. So it was quite competitive with a lot of good applicants this year, and the selection committee did a great job in weeding it down to the 13 people that we have here tonight. So I just want to do some introductions here. First, trust funds. Trust Fund Commissioner and Chairman of the Trust Funds is Dave Stevens. Member Tyler Gray. Member Andrew Samarco, and he's also a member of the selection committee. And then we have the selection committee here with Fred Faulkner, Larry Wentz, Steve Gentili, and Joe Gaffney. And we also have some town officials here tonight I'd just like to recognize. We have Nina Nazarian, our town administrator. Anthony Insaldi is the assistant town administrator. And we have Superintendent Kelly Clenchy from the school system, and I see John Harrington, principal of the high school. So welcome, everyone. Thank you, and we'll get kicked off here, and I'll introduce Dave.
So welcome and congratulations to all the scholarship winners. As Steve said, my name is Dave Stevens. I'm the chair of the Trust Fund. And I just want to take a couple minutes to give you a perspective of what the trust funds are and kind of what we as the commissioners do to help manage and maintain the trust funds. The scholarships tonight represent 2 of about 30 donations that were made to the town that are, individual funds that make up a total pool of about $5.3 million, which we refer to as the trust funds. And the donations have been made to, obviously over time, for pointed areas within the town. A lot of them are specifically towards the schools or the Littleton Scholarship Trust. There's the 2 tonight, which are 2 separate scholarships. There's also some funds that have been donated to the library, the cemetery, the Lyceum, and even for animal welfare. So really kind of a diverse area of donations that serve a bunch of different areas of the town. Our roles as the Trust Fund Commissioner is really to oversee the funds and really have a couple goals. We've laid out a investment policy, and we work with an investment advisor where we've set rules around that policy in terms of what our level of risk is for investment. We ideally basically want to maintain or slightly grow the principal that makes up that trust fund, and then also drive enough income so that it can fund the distributions that happen at the end of the calendar year. And those distributions go to things such as the scholarship. There's also some budget offsets, and also areas where they're a little bit of a windfall or additional money for the school, like the FM Kimball Fund is. I'm sorry, not the FM Kimball, the MH Kimball Fund is additional funds for the school for a special project. The last couple of years, we've kind of pooled that money to really focus on enhancing the library and made a lot of dramatic changes to the library where it's not just the stacks and the books anymore, but infusing technology, making sure the teachers know how to use that technology and making it more of a collaborative space. So really, as the trust fund commissioners, that's our goal is to maintain that principle and grow it, and then obviously work with the recipients of the distributions. I'm going to turn it over to Larry in a minute, who's going to give you a little more history on the founders of the Morrison and the Kimball Fund. But just to give you a little perspective, Steve mentioned that this is the 23rd year for the FM Kimball Fund. So distribution started in 1996, and we've awarded over $217,000 to 146 recipients. And this is the 6th year of the Morrison Fund since it's been fully funded. It started with a principal of $500,000, and it has awarded $210,000 to 38 recipients over that 6-year time frame. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Larry, who will give you a little more history on the founders of the funds.
It's wonderful to see a nice crowd here tonight. The winners for the scholarships and the family and friends who are here to celebrate the occasion. If I had my preference, I would be doing this walking around. I'm limited by camera, but I'm also, I can't trust the brain cells to light up in the sequence. I've tried doing this with just old-fashioned note cards, and it didn't quite work. So you'll have to bear with me as I read through my triple-spaced, large print pages here. There are 3 people who make tonight's award ceremony possible. And there's a unique life story to tell about Vincent Cooper, John Morrison, and Eunice Morrison. I'll try to touch upon that. John Morrison was born in Stoneham, Mass., graduated from high school there, and attended the University of Vermont. He came of age during the Great Depression, so it's probable that he did not have the financial resources to complete his undergraduate studies. However, that did not deter him, and he learned the skills of a carpenter at a large construction company and soon demonstrated the ability to move up to production management. Those talents were utilized during military service in World War II, and following discharge, Morrison went to work again with the Bowen Construction Company in the Boston area. He worked his way up the corporate ladder to eventually become a principal in field operations. At his retirement in the 1970s, he purchased the orchard located on Nagog Hill Road in Littleton, fulfilling an interest in agriculture. He was an outdoorsman and liked to travel with friends. And to interject a few other phrases about him, he was also a very unique character who could be a little cudgelly at times. I'll leave it at that. Little is known of Eunice Morrison's life story. She was John's second wife and lived and worked at the orchard with him. Eunice was a frequent patron of the Reuben Hoare Library and was a benefactor for numerous library functions. She is most noted for her tireless efforts to ensure that the orchard be preserved as town-owned property with conservation restrictions. The site on Nagog Hill Road is the last operating orchard in town. Vincent Cooper was born, raised, and lived on the family homestead located on Great Road. He was a salutatorian of his high school class in 1934 and went on to earn an undergraduate degree at what is now UMass Amherst, and eventually a graduate degree in etymology and geology at Virginia Tech. He was, in every sense of the word, a man of the soil. In addition to working the homestead, he continued to develop his craft in Georgia and Florida during numerous winters. Cooper was awarded several patents for his efforts in farming techniques and developing insect-resistant plants. There are a number of ways the Morrisons and Cooper can be connected to each other, and one common thread is civic activity. They were active participants in the life of the Littleton community. Support of the public library was also important to Vincent, and that support was recognized with the naming of a room in his honor. John served on several town government boards, and all 3 could be found in attendance at town meetings. A key word throughout these life stories is opportunity, and how these individuals recognized it and made use of it. Morrison was proactive and turned his departure from the University of Vermont into a successful lifelong career in construction. When an uncle, F.M. Kimball, provided the necessary funds, Cooper was able to complete his undergraduate studies and subsequently used that opportunity to forge a successful career in agriculture. The accumulated family wealth at her disposal provided Eunice financial security and thus the opportunity to ensure the conservation rather than the sale of the orchard. An interesting sidebar story illustrates another key topic and involves Vincent Cooper and Robert Smith. To paraphrase some comments made about Cooper, he lived a relatively quiet, simple life so he could give his money away. Cooper's perspective about wealth is evident in his comment, "Not too shabby for a farmer," during discussions regarding the drafts of his trust documents. The story with Smith, a principal in an investment firm, is also about giving money away. While giving the keynote address during commencement at Morehouse College this year, he very quietly said that he was developing a grant to pay off the college debt for all 400-plus graduates. Both Cooper and Smith were well aware of the short and long-term impact of their respective gifts would have on recipients and the subsequent lives that will be touched. These two men are bonded together by the spirit behind the motivation of giving to provide opportunity to others. Wow moments like these are rare. However, they can be an inspiration for giving and remind us that one can touch the future with something as simple as a kind word of praise, a random act of kindness, or a few moments of time. Opportunity presents itself in a variety of ways. It can be glaringly obvious or cleverly disguised. It can appear and be gone in an instant. It can have an impact over years and generations. The F.M. Kimball Second Scholarship was created by Vincent Cooper to honor and duplicate the opportunity provided to him. The Morrison Scholarship was created to make available educational opportunity that John Morrison did not have. The life stories written by John and Eunice Morrison and Vincent Cooper can be summarized by a quest for excellence, a thirst for knowledge, lifelong learning, and giving back to the community. Each of the individuals receiving an award today have demonstrated academic achievement, service, and a vision of their future. These awards are granted to acknowledge current accomplishments as well as future potential. The Selection Committee and Commissioners of Trust are honored to provide opportunity to the scholarship recipients. Commencement ceremonies are an announcement of a beginning. A new chapter in a life story is about to be written. With an apology to Andrew Lloyd Webber, a line from the musical Cats is appropriate. Look, a new day has begun. Opportunity awaits you. Carpe diem. This is also an appropriate time to make some acknowledgments. First, a word of thanks to the Commissioners of Trust for their continued stewardship of the trust funds in their care. These funds not only provide scholarships, but are also grants for numerous other functions in Littleton. Second, a thank you to the Selection Committee for the thoughtful consideration given to all of the applicants and the deliberations held to identify the scholarship recipients. Finally, thank you to Cindy DeFilippe and the Treasurer's Office, who provides invaluable administrative support and organization for the Selection Committee. You ready? Okay. This year's award ceremony, it's my privilege to introduce an individual who is a role model for all that the John and Eunice Morrison and F.M. Kimball scholarships represent. She has been a multi-year recipient of a scholarship and will be a graduate of the University of New Hampshire. Stephanie Gentili is the first alumnus of the F.M. Kimball and Morrison scholarships to address an award ceremony. Stephanie will share a few words with you now.
Thank you, Larry. Good evening, and congratulations to you all. My name is Stephanie Gentili, a graduate of Littleton High School's class of 2014. For the last 5 years, I have been fortunate to have been sitting in the very seats that you are all sitting in tonight. I was honored to be asked by Mr. Venuti and the rest of the scholarship committee to come back this year to share a little bit about the past few years of my journey to hopefully provide you with a little advice and to ask you to remember a few things along the way. First off, I would like to take a minute to recognize, as Larry has mentioned, the Kimball and Morrison families. Without them, a night like tonight, where 13 of you receive a well-deserved scholarship, would not be possible. So I ask you to remember families and people like them down the road, and when you find yourself in a position to give back, do so. Now, before talking about where you're all headed, it's important to stop and think what you're leaving behind. Something I often did while I was away in college. Whether you know it yet or not, you have been very fortunate to have grown up in Littleton. The small class sizes, the sense of community, the successful athletics, the fantastic theater and arts programs, the friendships you have made, and the coaches and mentors you have had have helped form you into someone who deserves to be in this room tonight. In 2014, I prepared to leave this town, a place I wasn't too sure I was ready to leave. The boundaries of Littleton were all I knew. I questioned whether I was ready. How would I make friends? How would I get involved? Would my classes be too difficult? Would I miss home? Many of these questions may be similar to ones that you currently have, or maybe for those of you who have already experienced some time in college, questions that you're slowly finding yourselves able to answer. So I ask you to remember that these questions will soon be answered as long as you believe that your roots of Littleton have prepared you for what is next. Okay, so what does happen next? For me, it was pursuing a degree in occupational therapy at the University of New Hampshire. I had known for years that I wanted to work in the health field, but that I didn't necessarily see myself becoming a nurse or doctor. After personal hands-on exposure to occupational therapy, when my grandmother fell ill the summer going into my senior year of high school, I was sure I had found a career path for me. However, with that being said, I was 18 years old, and how could I be so sure? 5 years later, I stand up here tonight and can proudly say that at 18, I made the right choice. I'm 6 months away from being a licensed occupational therapist with my master's degree. However, I ask you to remember, if you change your major, or maybe you have yet to declare one, that as long as you work hard and challenge yourselves, you will end up doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Now, I said work hard, and I mean it. College will open up a whole new world of fun and firsts, but you will be challenged and you will be pushed. I will tell anyone that asks, freshman year was undoubtedly my favorite year of college, but it was also that same year that I worked hard for my 3.9 GPA. It wasn't until the end of sophomore year, or maybe even junior year, when the demands were raised and classes became more challenging, that I realized my foundation of a 3.9 had set me up for success. So again, I ask you to continue to set yourself up for success. And remember, if college is feeling overwhelming, you're doing it right. I am sure many of these parents in the room here tonight who have supported you thus far would love to listen to you vent over the phone like I did many times. So thanks to my dad for that. Tonight, one of the biggest reasons you are in this room is because of your unarguable effort towards your academics. And yes, the core of your college experiences will be surrounding academics, but I can promise you that there's so much more to it. From a young age, my parents taught me the importance of being well-rounded, the importance of being someone with their hand in a little bit of everything. As the months and days and even hours of my college career flew by, I found myself attending meetings for various clubs on campus, playing intramural sports, donating blood at blood drives, volunteering for campus events, coaching junior varsity basketball and lacrosse, and even managing to fit in a few hours of work each week. I wouldn't trade my involvement on the UNH campus for anything. My freshman year, I found myself as a class representative for my 55 other occupational therapy classmates. My sophomore year, I found myself being hired as the student supervisor at the food court on campus. During my junior year, I found myself coaching a junior varsity lacrosse team for a local high school. And during my senior year, I was the president of the Student Occupational Therapy Association and found myself in the most integral role of running a Special Olympics basketball game for 2 local teams. I stand up here tonight with no intentions of bragging about what I've done over the last few years, but rather to use it as a platform to show you what you guys can do. So I know at this point I've asked a lot of you, but again, I ask you to remember that you are so much more than your good grades or an A on an exam. You have the ability to make a difference in your life and in the lives of others by simply getting involved. It's the new ideas you will bring to the table. It's the new perspectives you will have. It's the questions you will ask and the answers that you will provide where your true personality will shine. Now, I know that some, if not most of you, are on the beginning of this journey. It's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, and right now it may seem like a mystery, and that's okay. Over the next few years, as you look to solve the mystery, remember your roots. Remember to work hard and challenge yourself. Remember to set yourself up for success. Remember that you have the ability to make a difference, and remember to give back when the time feels right. By standing up here tonight, I feel like I have just begun to give back, and I have the Kimball Morrison Scholarship, the selection committee, to thank for many of the opportunities I've had over the last 5 years. I hope if you take only one thing away from me tonight as you walk out, that it's that you're well prepared for what's to come. I wish you all the best of luck as you continue on, and hope that each and every one of you find yourselves right where you want to be. Thank you.
Now I know why they put me up after Stephanie. I won't give you guys a hard time anymore. But just to amplify a little bit of what Stephanie said, I think as you move forward in your lives, it's really imperative to find a way to give back, whether it's to give back in your church, whether it's to give back in local organizations, whether it's to give back in small-town government, municipal support. I did some quick math, and the people standing here and sitting in the front row, by my calculations, have put in close to 150 committee years in service to Littleton. So we're getting old and tired. So it's going to be up to you all, if you come back to a small community, to pick up that banner and support your local communities in the ways that you see fit and that you're comfortable doing. So I'll get off my soapbox now. The first.
What I didn't say is he did 100 of the years.
Almost, not quite. Andrew is the biggest user here. But there you go. Would like to have Elizabeth Estep come up as our first award winner for the evening. During her time at Littleton High School, Elizabeth, and if you don't know who Elizabeth is, it's Lizzie, has been involved in a myriad of organizations, including the Humanitarian Club, Peer Leaders, New England Math League, and the National Honor Society. Needless to say, Elizabeth is an outstanding student as well. She's been dancing for about 15 years. Since her sophomore year, she's been sharing her skills by teaching tap and jazz. And for the past 5 years, she has danced with Dance Prism in their touring presentation of the Nutcracker Ballet. In her spare time, Elizabeth works at Market Basket, where she fast-tracked from cashier to customer service clerk and sometimes backup checkout manager. In the fall, Liz will be entering Bentley University, where she will pursue a financial management master's degree program, accelerated program. She's also been accepted into the very competitive Women's Leadership Program. Quoting Liz, "I've always been passionate about equality and women's rights, and I believe my career goals reflect this," unquote. Bentley obviously saw in Elizabeth the same capabilities and potential as our scholarship screening committee. Please join me in congratulating Liz on receiving the Eunice and John Morrison Scholarship.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's how Stephanie won those awards all these years. Her father's on the committee. Not true. Not true. Last year, as she won for the last time that she was eligible, I sat where you parents are sitting, and I said to myself, I need to do something. This group, these individuals have been so good to us, to my family, to Stephanie. Sure, she earned it. But I felt like I had to give back. And so this is just my small way. I hope, guys, that I did it okay. And it's the first of many years. I just wanted to give back a little bit. And that's all it takes. Right, Steph? Just a little bit. And we just can add on to what everyone else is doing. Juliana, come on up here. Let me introduce Juliana Banda. Juliana may not know this, but she had the privilege of being the first candidate we interviewed. And it was obvious from the start that she was going to set the bar pretty high. When I looked back at my initial notes after reviewing her application, I jotted down the following things. 350 community service hours? Question mark? Whew. A fighter. A kid who knows herself and she wants to help others. That's really all you need to know about Juliana. But there's more. You'll want to know that she would tell you herself that she didn't perform as nearly as she could have in the first few years of high school. But fighting through some very difficult times, she decided to rededicate herself to school, and her grades flourished. In the fall, she's attending Merrimack College to study health sciences. You see, a fighter who knows what she's capable of. Juliana will become a health teacher to educate people about the risks of drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and other poor lifestyle choices. As I mentioned, someone who is interested in helping others. So please join me in congratulating Juliana on a John and Eunice Morrison Scholarship. Rachel Kupal, ladies and gentlemen. Rachel finds herself in familiar territory. It's not her first time up there at the X. You remember where it is? She was here last year, too. When I read Rachel's application, my reaction was, wow. Here is a kid who really enjoys helping other people. She recently completed her first year at UMass Amherst in the nursing program, where she excelled in the classroom, receiving a 4.0 GPA for both of her first 2 semesters. And if you think her classroom performance is impressive, you'll be pleased to know she gives just as much of herself outside the classroom. It was 6th grade when she started volunteering at the Life Care Center, Neshoba Valley Nursing Home. That volunteerism has continued through high school, and today she continues to volunteer at UMass through the Student Nurses Association. She has completed her Certified Nursing Aides coursework, and currently works as a personal care assistant. Our local healthcare community will be better when Rachel graduates. So please join me in congratulating Rachel Kupal on the John and Eunice Morrison Scholarship. I got 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry. Morgan Mayo. The first thing you need to know about Morgan is she's a pioneer. She is the first Littleton High School graduate to complete full-time dual enrollment at Middlesex Community College as well as Littleton High School. So in addition to celebrating her high school graduation last Friday, she also recently celebrated the receipt of her associate's degree in psychology and is entering Worcester State University as a junior. Morgan will be majoring in communication sciences and disorders. With that degree in hand, she has plans to pursue graduate studies towards a degree in speech pathology, and in her words, hopeful, attention back there, hopeful that I could work for the Littleton school system, as she is so grateful for the people that played a part in her own educational interventions and support. In addition to receiving a 3.95 cumulative GPA in high school, Morgan dove headfirst into her community at MCC, was student government president, a PR chair of the Student Advisory Council with Massachusetts Department of Higher Education, and a student representative for Open Educational Resources statewide task force. A force in her own right. Congratulations, Morgan.
Well, this is a tough group to follow. You know, I better come up with some winners here. And the first one, in fact, is not even present tonight, so here I am. It's Jessica Barron. She just completed her sophomore year at Fitchburg State as a business admin, in the business admin program with an accounting concentration. Her near-term goal is to be a certified public accountant with a view to owning her own personal training company. Time management is one of her many skills. Currently studying at the National Academy of Sports Medicine, working 35 hours per week at a local gym, maintaining a high grade point average in Fitchburg State. So you can see why she's not here tonight. Jessica sums it up. My career will allow me to combine my love of fitness and number crunching. Okay? Congratulations. Yeah. Isabel Goddard, she's here with us. Isabel is a multi-year recipient of the Kimball Morrison scholarships. On May 12, 2019, she graduated from Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, with a bachelor's degree in exercise science while achieving outstanding academic performance. She'll continue her education at the University of Massachusetts in Lowell, enrolled in a 3-year Doctor of Physical Therapy program, which started on May 20th. So you got the dates here, graduating in one on the 12th and enrolling on the 20th. But that's part of life. Outside of the classroom studies, she's worked at the Concord Area Special Education Case Collaborative as a teacher assistant. And her longer-term range plan goal is to work with the physically disabled individuals to help them progress, achieve, and later maintain a higher quality of life. Congratulations. Christine. Christina just finished her freshman year at Savannah College of Art and Design. It was a new challenge, but she met both academically and socially. From September 13th through October 18th, 2018, her high school artwork was displayed at the art gallery at Reuben Hoare Library. She has a passion for taking photography of faces, eyes especially, the eyes into your soul. During her winter break, she worked at Case Collaborative as a substitute classroom teacher, preschool to high school, and hopes to continue working at Case in the 5-week summer program at the Russell Street School. Her long-term plan is to work for the National Geographic as a photographer. Congratulations.
Sarah Gordon. Just a few of Sarah's accomplishments during her tenure at Littleton High School include a meager 4.9 GPA, SATs of 1590, induction into the National Honor Society, and many other awards. She also found time to tutor in several subjects, participate in slam poetry at Grub Street, and complete an internship at the Improv Comedy in Boston. Apparently, all this didn't keep her busy enough, as she took on a major role in designing and producing this year's Littleton High School yearbook. Sarah will be entering Northeastern University in the fall, where she will be embarking on a double major in English and graphic design. In Sarah's own words, I love to tell stories, advocate for what I believe in, and above all, communicate with the world around me. Please welcome me in congratulating Sarah in receiving an FM Kimball Scholarship. And I also have one AWOL, Catherine Katie Norton, who is a second-time winner. Katie just finished her freshman year of study at the Eisenberg School of Management within the University of Massachusetts, where she continued on her path of academic excellence. At UMass, she quickly found that she needed to advocate for herself in order to receive the accommodation she required to be able to participate effectively in class. Katie accomplished this by meeting one-on-one with her professors, discussing her situation, and requesting that the professors wear an FM microphone so she could hear the material effectively and participate. Katie has a newfound passion for weightlifting. She weightlifts 5 days a week, and if she was standing here, I was going to suggest if anybody's looking for bodyguard, you might look towards Katie. So if you see her around town, you can tell her that. In Amherst, Katie has volunteered to support of Safe Passage, which is an organization that works to assist victims of domestic abuse and their families. Katie's long-term goals include, quote, to pursue a career where I can help the deaf and hard of hearing, unquote. Also, quote, I would like to work in an organization or start my own business to accomplish this. My bet is she's going to start a business. Thank you, Katie.
So our next recipient is Ella Heitmeyer, who couldn't be with us tonight. Ella's a 2019 graduate of Littleton High School. In the fall, she plans on attending Tufts University, double majoring in biology and in public health. While at Littleton High, she's maintained a stellar academic record with a near-perfect grade point average. Outside of the classroom, she's been active in the school's track teams, volunteered at Lowell General Hospital and a nonprofit cafe, as well as tutored students at the middle school. Upon graduating, she hopes to use her education to effect positive change in the sphere of global public health. As an individual that is passionate about a myriad of topics spanning fields such as history, government, chemistry, and statistics, Ella is destined to make a substantial impact towards improving the healthcare and quality of life of communities worldwide. Okay, our next recipient is Derek Ning. Derek is here. So Derek has just completed his high school career at the Massachusetts Academy of Math and Science at the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. In August, he will be entering Northeastern University to pursue a degree in both cybersecurity and criminal justice. While attending this academically accelerated institution for advanced high school juniors and seniors, he has proven himself to be a gifted student with impeccable academic performance. Before transitioning to the academy, Derek attended Littleton High School, where he was active in the Humanitarian Club and the Tiger Help Desk, while also serving as a volunteer at Loaves and Fishes. Of his many talents is his ability to perform a broad spectrum of web design functions, such as creating websites from scratch. He is also an accomplished piano player that has won numerous national competitions. With cyber attacks on corporate and government databases and networks on the rise, Derek seeks to be on the front lines of defending our nation's technological infrastructure against worldwide threats. Congratulations, Derek. Okay, and our next recipient is Jack Palea. So Jack is a member of Littleton High School's graduating class of 2019. In September, he'll be studying computer science at the Georgia Institute of Technology. A student with impressive scholastic achievements, he has taken nearly all honors and advanced placement classes throughout his high school career. Aside from his academics, he has been active at Littleton High and the school's varsity tennis and cross-country teams, as well as its concert and jazz bands. He has also been a volunteer mentor to his peers and started the school's SAT tutoring center. To serve his community, Jack has volunteered his time at the garden at Church Meadows, helping to provide fresh vegetables to Loaves and Fishes food pantry, and at the LHS help desk, assisting seniors with technology inquiries. Jack hopes to use his education and skills acquired at Georgia Tech to inspire and prepare future generations to thrive in a world where technology is constantly evolving to better suit our needs. Congratulations, Jack.
Last but certainly not least from this group, Radhika Mehta. If I had to pick one word to describe Radhika, it would be involved. A 3-season athlete, a member of the LHS Bio Builders Club, the Humanitarian Club, vice president of the Science Olympiad team. Wherever she goes, she leaves her mark. An intern at the New England Aquarium, participant in the Boston Leadership Institute for Surgical and Biomedical Research, a volunteer at Emerson Hospital. Then there's the Caroling for a Cause event she runs every year, which I understand she'll be demonstrating later on. It's no wonder that Radhika's grades suffer. All right, she finished high school with a 4.6 GPA. In the fall, Radhika will attend the Honors College at UMass Amherst, where she will major in biology with a specialty in neurobiology. In her scholarship application, Radhika mentioned that she is looking forward to the opportunity to conduct research in cellular and molecular neurobiology, neurophysiology, and behavioral neuroendocrinology. Just an ordinary high school student with average dreams. Congratulations to Radhika on receiving this award from the FM Kimball II Scholarship Fund.
Okay. So that is the show for tonight. Congratulations to all the scholarship recipients. I want to thank Steve Venuti, who's always here to support the Trust Fund Commission and really organizes this whole event. And certainly thank the selection committee for all their work that they did going through all the applications. I think Kirby needs to turn us off, and then we're going to get together for a picture.